Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bulletproof Underwear. I am your co-host, Yam Juice.
And I am your co-host, Flex.
And today, we are graced by one of the most entertaining dudes in the gaming community. And I'm talking about none other than Kleenup. Yeah!
Hey, how's it going, guys?
We be good. We be good.
Yeah. Oh, so what have you guys been up to?
Well, gaming-wise, we've been playing a lot of original Black Ops, backwards compatibility.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of flops.
No.
You guys feeling the groove on that?
Oh, yeah. I've got 6 days played on it since it came out in May.
Oh, what? Wow. That's good for you, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, it was the game that was my first online multiplayer game, and it's my favorite COD by far.
Yeah.
And it's not that I have a problem with Halo 5. I'm one of those people who actually likes it.
Yeah.
But I just, it's like this came out. It's, the player base will shrink soon enough, and it really won't be playable. So I'm playing it now while you can.
Right. And I totally understand that. It's so funny to see how people are, like, usually, like, okay, the first Halo game that I played, like, really, I played Halo Combat Evolved, like, a lot. Mm-hmm. But towards the end, of it, I really started to get into more than just the campaign. Started to do a lot of the landing and stuff like that. But my first major one was Halo 2 online multiplayer, and you know what I mean. That was the first online multiplayer period, but it was definitely what I would consider my first Halo, the one that I really sunk my teeth into, and it's my favorite. So naturally, what you see is that, okay, your first Call of Duty is going to be your favorite. The first Call of Duty that I played was COD 4, and by far and large, that's my favorite Call of Duty for sure. Like,
right.
I'm actually gonna buy the remaster if it's a standalone. I will 100% buy that. I really don't want to buy Infinite Warfare.
I don't want to buy Infinite Warfare either, but I do want to play COD 4. I really do.
Right.
It was before my time, but it was a simple COD. Like Black Ops is a simple COD, and I like that.
Right. And I like it too. Flex, are you?
Oh yeah.
You're doing the whole thing?
I'm gonna do the whole thing, but okay. I did see a tweet that, and this isn't news breaking by any means, or shattering, but they said that Activision or whoever is probably going to release a standalone version of COD 4 at some point.
Right. After they've milked
the cow.
After they've squeezed as much money as they think they can get from the bundle, then they'll sell it separately.
It'll be out probably Black Friday or this Christmas or even next spring. I'm willing to wait. That's the thing. I'm willing to wait. I've bought COD 4 twice. You know what I mean?
Right.
$60. I don't really want to pay for it. This will be my final time paying for it. But I think it's going to be well past worth it. I do. I think.
Well,
all
the streams that people were doing the other week, they looked great, and everybody who played it, they were saying it was great. It worked really smooth, and it's just like they remember. Everything is the same.
Yeah. The one thing they bitched about, I think, was the sounds. But you're talking about sounds from like 2007, and they weren't. It wasn't like they were like groundbreaking sound.
They probably weren't that great. It's just that's what people remember,
Right. And I think now that it's kind of pushed forward, they did need to update the sounds and sound quality inside that game. But to be honest with you, everything else should not be touched. I would rather it not.
So you don't want to nerf like Grenade X3.
Well, no, because it's part of the
Stand.
game. You know what I mean? I hate Last Stand. I hate
Martyrdom.
Everybody hates Last Stand.
Everybody hates that shit, but you know what I mean? You work around it. It's like, okay, if they remade Halo 2, not Halo 2 Anniversary, I don't want to count that, because that was a pretty good remake, but I would rather them have the button combos in there, because that was such a huge part of it back when it was gaming. So when they didn't have that, it kind of stole a little bit of my soul.
part of your skill with the game was,
and it was
operating it that way, man.
It was very unintended, but it was definitely there. And when it was stripped of that, it kind of like Halo 2 Anniversary plays amazing. Like I do play MCC a lot. I raced Halo 5 off the hard drive, not because I was like upset, I would say.
Faven got to you.
I mean, no, I wouldn't say he got to me. I think what I'm realizing now, and part of the reason why I was so upset with MCC was just, I just expected everything to be just as good as it was, in 2010 or 2009 when Halo 3 was at the top. I just expected all these old pros to come back and everybody to release like montages that were updated. So instead of having, just your basic triple kill, no scope or whatever, they would have like cross map no scopes and stuff. And I really expected that. And when it didn't happen, or it couldn't happen because of what was inside the multiplayer and online functionality, I think it let me down a lot. And I couldn't get over that, so I put all my stock into Halo 5, which is a good game. It's a good game. I still think Halo 5's good to play. I support the people that play it. Like, I still, love my Unishack. I still love, Ubernick and people who create content for it. Even Faven, I have an appreciation for what he does, but I've kind of learned a lot just because of Halo 5. And this is boring, I know, but I've learned a lot just through Halo 5 about being
If you
more...
say metagame, I'm going to fucking reach through
Well,
and
there's
slap
a little
you.
bit of meta there. No, I will never say that. No, but I've learned a lot of tolerance, I guess you'd say, for other communities and other people's opinions just because of Halo 5. Like, I can value some of Faven's most recent opinions, not necessarily his older one. I'll still call him a jackass for saying, Warzone is not a proper replacement for BTB, even though it's the highest played playlist to this day. You know what I mean? Like, Warzone is here to stay. It's a good mode. I liked it a lot. And it overshadows BTB, but yeah, his most recent stuff makes more sense to me than his first. So,
well, he does argue with, he doesn't just say, this is good and this is bad, just, yeah. I mean, he gives reasons for why he believes that.
Right. And some of those, like I said, some of those I agree with, some I don't. More recently, I can be more in agreement. And I think he can see that based on tweets and stuff like that. I'm a little less spiteful, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. Well, I think he thinks that you hate him.
No, I don't necessarily hate anybody anymore. Like I said, like I've learned with Halo 5 is to be tolerant of a lot of different other communities. Like I was very short-sighted with the Destiny community and everything they've done, and I've sunk in hours upon hours on Destiny lately.
Okay. So this is a whole separate thing. Like, I know that you are all of a sudden Mr. High on Destiny. What happened? What happened?
Well, here's the thing. The initial push of Destiny really turned me off, just like it turned you off. Anybody that really played it, you know what I mean? That makes sense. Like, they screwed up bad. Like, the story was terrible. Everything was awful. It's taken them 2 years, damn near 3. But the content that is there is really great. It's some of the best gaming experiences I've ever had, most memorable. And that's not being like...
Are you talking about the campaign, the raids and stuff like that?
The raids and stuff. Because you have to think, like, I was never a WoW player. was never like a massive MMO player or anything like that. So this is really my first introduction into raiding. So I don't know exactly how it works on WoW. Like I've only heard, but I've gone into these things like I've never watched a raid. I've never done a raid until like 3 weeks ago. And I said, guys, don't tell me what to do. I just want to figure it out. And we'll go through this. And if I get too deep into it or I get too frustrated, you guys can kind of guide me. And my friends were very respectful of it. And they were really great. And I play with 6 people every single night. And it was my first raid experience. And just to see everything that goes into it, like going into this raid blind is one of the best experiences in gaming that I've ever had. And I haven't, you have to understand, I haven't had that in a very long time.
Yeah, you've been starved.
And
so needless to say, you are super psyched about the iron bedpan.
Yes, I am. Yeah, there's a new raid. I'm skeptical about the raid, and you know, the strike that they have on there is kind of like a reskin. There's like a different route and different like boss, but he's just a reskin boss. So that was kind of crappy. And I'll be the first person to be critical of Destiny. I still am. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
If something's not right, I have no qualms about saying, hey, this isn't right. I feel like I was cheated.
Fix it, fools.
Right. I feel like if I had been a person who had been paying all along, I would have felt cheated by this game a little bit by now, or I probably would have been very bored or said, hey, Bungie, let's go. But the fact of the matter is I waited till the right time, and it made all the difference, I think. I think if somebody were to pick up Halo 5 right now, it would almost be the right time to pick up Halo 5. Almost the perfect time.
It's a way better game than it launched. Way better.
Right. But it's like Halo 5 has made very good strides, and it had a very good solid base, much like Destiny. But Destiny, to me, has done so much more. The raids, you wouldn't believe it, dude. The raids are just unbelievable. Some of the strikes are unbelievable. Like when you see the doors open, like it's an epic moment, and you have to figure out things for yourself, which, as you know, games nowadays really don't do a whole lot of that. And when they do, they get praised for it. So it's been a long 3 years, but it definitely, I think, would be something to look into for people. But Destiny 2, I know I say this about like Halo and stuff, but I think Destiny 2 will change FPS gaming, I think, for forever if it keeps on this track.
Well, it depends on it depends on what they do with the multiplayer.
Yeah, I mean that's a very good possibility. They just added private matches to multiplayer, which you know, if that would have happened in the Halo community, we would have shit our pants. Like 343 would be burning right now if we just installed private matches. But they just installed private matches. They work fine. There's almost no options to them besides changing time and changing score to achieve the goal.
Well, can you set it up so everybody has the same weapon?
No.
Oh, see, that's the drag. See, it would be better if you could somehow like make it a level playing field.
Yeah. I mean, but I think that would be something more of along the lines of like if you were to talk to, like, because obviously you're going to game with your friends and stuff, and you could say, hey, we're only going to run this specific archetype of auto rifle, or we're going to run this specific type of scout rifle. Like that would be a route if you wanted to. It's kind of a roundabout way to do it, and it's somewhat inconvenient, but there's so many guns in the game that it would be very hard to control that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
so do you spend much time playing the multiplayer?
I'd probably say 70-30. So I'm 70% multiplayer.
Oh, okay.
Well, how come we don't see no videos, bro?
Well, I'm saving some clips, and I wanted to talk about it after Rise of Iron or whatever, because I would like people to see it, like, and try it out. You know, I think a lot of people, like, I was so skeptical. You don't understand. It was almost like my hands were shaking when I was buying the 2 map packs. You know what I mean? The 2 DLCs. It was on sale for like, I think $25. You know, and I was like, you know, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. You know,
are you going to be a chump?
How stupid am I? And then I realized, oh wait, you paid $100 to play GTA 5 for like 3 days. So yeah, you can spend $25. And I spent $25 on it, and it was definitely well past worth it, I would say. Yeah, I think honestly, if you were to try it, I know you might be a little bit against it, but I think if you were to try it right now and have like a solid squad to go with, like me and my friends and stuff, I feel like you would change your tune, because it's some of the best gaming I've ever experienced FPS wise.
Of course, we'd have to. I just bought the initial game. I haven't bought any of the DLC. So
okay, the DLC is okay. Like I said, if I would have initially purchased it, I might be a little upset with the content there, but you know, I'm just now experiencing it for the first time, so it makes all the difference, I think.
So are you like every Friday? You know, like what's Zur up to today?
I do that. You know, I make sure, you know, I do my daily quests and stuff like that. Do my daily Crucible stuff. Get my bounties. I get my. There's something different like almost every day, or you're working towards building to something, or getting like a specific armor piece or a specific like light level or something. So you definitely feel like you're always working towards something. And more recently, I've kind of been like really working on my light level and trying to get that up so I can be ready for the DLC that's going to come out and I don't get left behind by my friends.
Oh no, no! Can't you just buy that shit?
No, you can't. And another thing that I noticed is Destiny, when it first launched, was very frustrating because it had minimal drops and it was very frustrating. Now it's almost like they're handing out candy. It's a lot easier to get things that you want now.
Oh, so they got a little more generous.
Yes, they definitely got a lot more generous. The way I looked at it, I said within my first week, I got a bunch of exotics and legendary weapons and stuff. And I was like, dude, like people who buy this game right now have no idea what it's like when this game launched and you were just mind-numbingly doing the same shit over and over and over and over again just to get, you know, crumbs of content. You know what I mean?
Right.
But now it's like it's very, very good. Yeah, they've done a pretty solid job at the RNG aspect of it. So, or R&D or whatever the hell it's called. You know what I mean? Random loot drops.
RNQ, RNS, whatever the fuck it is.
As long as it ain't the meta. Yeah, I play a lot of PvP. It's very fun for me. It can be frustrating, just like Halo 5 can be frustrating, or Call of Duty, or any other FPS. But the way I look at it now is it's a lot more fun because I have the guns that I really want, or I know what guns I want to try next, and there's just a whole laundry list of guns to go through that you can try out, and it's definitely worth it, you know. So I would urge anybody to try it. Pick up the sticks again. I think everybody would be pleasantly surprised with what came out of the box. You know what I mean? So
maybe so. Only because you're saying it, Kleen.
Right. I mean, dude, you know that I was the biggest Destiny hater. Like,
you're the anti-Destiny guy, man.
Dude, I was like, oh, you're playing Destiny? But you know, now it's kind of like.
Well, I still have to deal with the fact that some part of me is like wondering if you were dropped on your head or something.
No, I think
no, that was me.
But I think that I really I appreciate gaming a lot more because I feel like I'm in my twilight of this aspect. I picked up a new bike and stuff, so I have to ride my bike now because I'm trying to lose a little bit of weight and do that and spend time with my kids.
Are you saying your gaming days are numbered?
Eventually, yeah, but I mean, I'll pick up maybe 1 or 2 games here or there.
Look, I'm in my later 50s, bub.
Yeah,
there's no reason you have to stop.
No, I don't feel like I have to stop, but I think like I won't buy so many games. My library won't be.
You're not going to get as heavily into it as you've been in the past.
Right.
Well, I've stopped buying every game that comes down the pike, and just not playing it. I was like, I've done that so much, I've got a wall of shame, games that I never even fucking opened.
Yeah. And one of those games for me, dude, Battlefield 1. Good Lord.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about Battlefield 1. I don't know anybody who was higher on Battlefield 1 before the beta than you.
Dude, I was a cheerleader. I was like, look at this shit, guys. Look at this shit. They listen. They're going back, boots on ground, and everything's going to be perfect. And, dude, it was awful.
Okay.
Like
okay,
I said,
awful.
I went from buying the premium edition, deluxe version, so $134 worth of content, day one download, to canceling my pre-order completely.
And then spitting, right?
And then just being like, I'm unfollowing Battlefield on everything. I'm just gonna play Battlefield 4. And I mean it's a good game. Not quite as good as Battlefield 3, I would say, but it's the last of its kind, I guess you'd say.
Well, no. You got 2 more recent Battlefield games. You got the Star Wars version of Battlefield, and you got the Hardline, baby.
I liked Hardline. Hardline I liked just because it was more about gunplay as opposed to vehicles. I liked that for that aspect. The only problem with that was the community was very, very small. So
there was no multiplayer community.
It's tough. Right. Yeah. Because so many Battlefielders want the tanks. They want the air, the air combat and stuff. And Hardline was more about, for me, 5v5 and not conquests. It was more about, boots on the ground and kind of gunplay, which was fun. I liked it.
I've been playing campaign. It's pretty neat.
Hardline's really fun for campaign.
Yeah, I'm a little ways into it, but yeah, I've been having some fun with it. It's pretty cool.
I mean, they offered all the DLC for free so far, and they offered that for Battlefield 4, which I think is great. Dude, like Hardline's pretty fun. Like, I'll still hop onto it. They have ranked play on there. They offered a lot of stuff, but it just wasn't really well received.
No, it did not go over that great.
But I put over 500 hours in that game. It was my most played game last year and the year before. So yeah, I sunk a lot of time in that. And Battlefield 1, like, I don't know, it's more like Battlefront, and I really did not like Battlefront.
Okay, so what about Battlefield 1 is not cool to you?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is basically nobody was running the medic class, and it never made me want to run the medic class. See, the thing about Battlefield 4, and one of the reasons why I like Conquest on Battlefield 4 is because you have a ticket rate on there. Okay, now that ticket rate, you hold positions and stuff, and it starts going down. But the more kills you get on the other team, the faster it depletes, right? So you have to kind of rely on your teammates to revive you to kind of keep your ticket rate in line. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right. And there was none of that going on in
There's none of that
1.
in Battlefield 1. You see, when you don't have that ticket rate, there's really no reason to revive your friends. It's more about holding the position and just trying to take over and dominate. It's basically domination from Call of Duty. And, there's no incentive to run the medic class beside the fact that it has a decent gun in its class, one of the top in the game. But at least when I played it. But there's no incentive to run it. You're almost better off being a sniper and picking people off.
And a lot of that went on too.
Yeah, or being in a tank and
because there was
running tank.
There was no coherence. There was no squad aspect to it because of the lack of people reviving people, and then you had loners out there that are like, "Well, screw it, I'll just hang out here and pick people off."
It's about my stats. It's becoming more about stats as opposed to making sure you're reviving as many people as possible, providing health packs, other things like that. It's more about, well, how many people can I kill this round? If we win, we win. That's fine, whatever. But my main goal is to be at the top of the leaderboard based on kills.
Well, did you find the engagement satisfying?
The hit detection was very wonky for me. It felt like this game, honestly, I think it needed probably another 5 or 6 months on it before release. I think that it's very rushed. I feel like it's not as complete or thorough. Battlefield 4 was a mess.
That would be in keeping with the DICE pattern.
Right. I feel like it's going to get very stale, and it's going to lose a lot of its people, which is a hit that, as you see, most FPS games are going that route. It seems like they're losing a lot of their people.
They go fast. They come and they go fast. They don't have the legs like they used to. Destiny is the only one that really had legs at any time recently. Right.
And that's because they've been there was a time where there was like a lull period where you saw Destiny kind of took a back seat to like the Call of Duty and to Halo even. And now all of a sudden it came roaring back with a couple updates and new DLC. And
right. Well, it never suffered the kind of like near extinction that some of those other games did. It just always had a baseline level.
Remember when they said it was a 10-year program and we laughed, Yam?
Yeah.
Who's laughing now?
Right.
Yeah.
Like I said,
we were like, oh, it's not going to have any staying power.
Well, this year's Call of Duty Black Ops 3 has had like pretty good legs. If you look on Twitch, it's usually pretty high up there. It's kind of surprising.
Right. And I think I don't think it's surprising because it's a Treyarch game. Although it has the advanced movement and stuff, I feel like they make a higher quality product than the other ones.
I agree.
And I think that's the reason why it has legs, a lot of people can make fun of it, but I think it is the most well-rounded Call of Duty to come out. Now, that's not saying a whole lot, considering there was like Advanced Warfare, which I didn't necessarily like, and Ghost, which was the last, I think, boots on ground one that they had, which I think now people are like, Ghost wasn't as bad as they thought originally.
If Ghost gets that treatment, I'll be shocked. I mean, everybody hated that game.
Right. And I definitely didn't like it, but I played a lot of Black Ops 2.
Oh, yeah, that was a good game.
I was never really great at Black Ops 1. So I never really got into that wholeheartedly, but Black Ops 2 I put a lot of time in. Modern Warfare 3 I put a lot of time in. But yeah, the Treyarch makes pretty good games, I would say.
How do you feel about the original Black Ops?
It was tough. When I got on, it was kind of in its twilight. So the only people that were left there were like the really hardcore tryhards and stuff.
Right.
And dude, it was rough. But there were games where I'd have a 0.5, but then the next game I would have like a 2 point something. You know what I mean? KD.
Yeah.
And it was just very random for me. But I mean, I saw why people liked it, because it still had a simplistic style to it.
Yeah.
But I actually liked Black Ops 2 better than Black Ops 1, which is very controversial because people generally like Black Ops 1 more than Black Ops 2.
Well, Black Ops 2 was a very successful game. It was a very popular game. It lasted longer than the Treyarch or the Infinity Ward games tend to.
Yeah, 100%.
Now I'm wondering, like, how come you didn't get on board the Overwatch train?
I played it. I actually released a video of it, and I said, hey guys, thanks for making me buy this fucking game based off hype, Lurker. Because he did. He was hyping that shit up. He was like, Overwatch, yeah! And I was like, all right, Overwatch, let's do it. I found a guy who... Don't tell Microsoft, guys. All right, you ready? Okay. This is very top secret.
Okay, we're listening.
I traded a profile with a guy, so I only paid like $20 for it. And okay. I downloaded his profile to my Xbox, and I only paid him like $20. So I gotta play it, and I played it for a while, but then, the lanes were way too easy. Competitive play was just too random. Like, I won 8 out of my 10 competitive matches, but only got ranked at like a 60 something, out of 100. So I was like, well, how the hell is that possible? Oh, no. And I was just like, well, all right. And it became this game that was like, okay, I know somebody's going to be here at this point, and I'm going to be running this at this point, and this is to counter. And it became way too, I don't know, the super sucked. Like, it was just, it didn't become stale. It just I became very uninterested in it. I was just like, it's way too basic. It's way too repetitive. It's the same maps, and I know exactly where I'm going to go.
Yeah, but you got all these different characters you can learn to master.
Right, but some of them just suck. Some of them are terrible that you would never even want to use. So I generally stuck with like 3 or 4 different characters.
What was your main one?
The main one that I rolled with, what was her name? Starts with the Z. She had a rocket launcher. She was probably one of my favorites to use. Roadhog, Junkrat, and Bastion. Those ones I like to use. And then every now and then I'd use Soldier, and every now and then I'd use Reaper. And I just rolled with those guys, and every single match. And there was nobody on there. Like, everybody that played it stopped playing it within the first like week. And I was just left there holding my dick. And I was like,
really? It looks
cool.
like it's one of those games that has a big player base that's going to stick around for a long time.
A lot of people left. Like, I started to get lobbies with the same people in them and stuff. And, it became frustrating after a while, because I would invite people and they would just be like, I'm not playing that game. And it's like, you are the reason why I bought this game. Can you just show up to the fucking game? No. Okay. Well, thanks. So it got old kind of quick. I had a little bit of fun with it. Don't get me wrong. Like, but I think it was because of the dry period during the summer. There was nothing that came out that was worthwhile. So it kind of scratched that itch. You know what I mean? So
okay,
yeah,
okay. So what about the Titanfall beta? Did you get in on that? Are you hot for that?
I played for a day. And I was like,
I played for an hour. For an hour.
Yeah, and I was just like, nope, doesn't have the same feel like it did the first one, and that was really fun. Like, I played the alpha, I played the beta, I played the first like probably month and a half of Titanfall, and then I was just done.
Yeah, exactly. About a month and a half.
And
that's about how long it lasted.
I think I've had my fill. You know what I mean? Where you've had like a fill of a specific sort of game. That's kind of where I'm at with Titanfall. Like, hearing the crackling from the Titan coming down and smashing into the earth doesn't quite grip me as much as it did when it first happened. And, you know, the first Titanfall, you know, every time, even, you know, 2 months in or whatever of playing it, like when the Titan would come down, I would still look at it and still listen to the crackling of it, like, and then boom, slamming onto the earth. That was really fun.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't appeal to me anymore.
Well, I don't even know why I stopped playing it. I just like lost interest. I can't even point my finger at why.
Right. It's not a bad game, I would say. It's just it doesn't grip me. There's no reason. Like, why am I doing this? Halo has a little bit of reason, like, okay, well, you know, why am I fighting these other Spartans? You know, it's training, it's part of this, that, and the other. I kind of want like a deeper meaning for it. And I don't think Titanfall
you weren't satisfied
has that.
by Titanfall's deep, thoughtful campaign?
No, it's okay.
Oh my God. It was such a chore having to go through playing that, listening to those guys for each of the Titans you unlocked.
Right.
It's like, oh my God.
I have to listen to this shit?
Listen to this drivel. I mean, you're just playing multiplayer matches. You can kind of ignore them.
Right.
I defy anybody to tell me what the actual lore of Titanfall is based on that.
Well, they're coming out with a campaign this game, but it doesn't have me interested. It looks pretty cool. A lot of people are impressed by the samurai Titan, whatever the fuck it is, the guy with the sword. I mean, that's cool. That's a cool concept, but it's not. I ain't gonna shell out $60 to buy a fucking samurai Titan. All right, that ain't me. Flex, you only played it for an hour. Why'd you only play it for an hour?
I don't know. It just
see, nobody fucking knows. But it's like it just lost us somewhere in there.
It didn't feel
wasn't
good.
there.
It didn't feel good. It just didn't. I don't know. I didn't like it.
Well, you know, maybe,
And I don't know why.
in the spring or something when it goes on sale. Maybe it'll be a pickup game. You know.
Yeah, maybe. I think it will. I think it'll have a little bit more depth this time as opposed to the first one, which will be good, but they're still not going to have ranks at launch.
Yeah, but
They
you know,
even
it is
said
going to be a
that.
lot bigger game because it's on both platforms now.
Yeah, which is good. And I think that's the way most games should go if they want any sort of success. The only thing that I hate about these platform games is they generally show like, oh, DLC first. At this point in time, it's like, come on, you gaming company, come on. Don't punish me because of the console that I bought. Just give me the fucking game. Like, I paid money, paying just as much money as PlayStation people are or computer people are to buy this fucking game, yet you're still showing preference. Like, that's horseshit. If I were to make my own game, it would be on multi-console, of course. Like, I'd be a fool not to. It would sell so much more that way.
Gears of War is console specific, so then they're like, buy the Ultimate Edition and get it 4 days earlier. Then what?
Right.
Everybody else? I mean, I bought the Ultimate Edition because I wanted the season pass and it was a deal.
Right.
You know, you get a little bit of a discount. But it's like, I didn't buy it because I get it 4 days earlier.
Well, like Halo, Gears of War is a Microsoft specialty, so it's not going to be on PS, you know, at all. So that
but it'll be on PC.
It'll be on PC.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think if you buy Gears 4, you get the PC version.
Yep. You do.
Wow.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's a smart, I think, marketing thing for Microsoft. Is to say, okay, if you buy all of these for the Xbox One, then you can play them on PC as well. You know, gaming anywhere. I think Microsoft is kind of moving ahead of PlayStation right now in my eyes. You know,
as far as gaming everywhere.
Well, now you can play Halo 5 on PC.
Right. And now you can play Halo 5 on PC, especially with the Forge. That's going to be huge. Like, if you look at any of the creations that people have done since then, so much better than any other console creation I've ever seen. You know, and
well, it's got to be way easier.
Yeah, you have more fine tuning, other things like that. You know, I think Microsoft is moving ahead, especially with the Scorpio and stuff like that.
Right, now the Scorpio is going to have some real power. It's going to have more than 6 teraflops, and that's more that's a definite increase from my $500 video card that I just bought less than a year ago.
Right, and I think that's good, because again, I think they're selling it as, you know, kind of like a gaming PC sort of thing, and I think it makes sense. I think it's good, you know, if they want to do what they want to do and have all that power. Good for them, you know. They want to do the HDR and 4K, and you know everything true.
Well,
4K.
I hope they don't do what PlayStation has done. Their you know upgraded console, the PS4 Pro. They're not going to use that extra power to push the frame rate. They're using the extra power to push the resolution.
Right, which is it's okay, but when you have games dipping to like 39 frames per second or like 40 frames per second or whatever the hell it is.
I think their target is 30, and if if they're 30 and they dip down to 22, then you got a problem.
Right. And I think gaming as it stands right now, you have to have a game with a constant frame rate, no matter what.
Right.
You know, I think that is that should be the standard. I don't care if you're running 720p or 900p or, you know, whatever. As long as you have a constant frame rate, that's what I care about.
Well, if it's like a 100 frame rate and it dips down to 80, you won't notice anything.
Right, that's not a big deal.
But if it's 60 and then it drops below that, then you can tell.
Because you're talking about, I used to play Conquer, which had like 8 frames per second at one point. Because there was so much shit loading on there.
It's like there's a strobe light going off, you know?
Right. And, you know, it's comical. But I think now I think these game developers really need to get a hold of what they're doing and take time. I mean, I know Microsoft has their own agenda, PlayStation has their own agenda, but I really want to see a company say, "Hey, no, this is what needs to happen." I think Halo was very brilliant in the fact that they wanted to make the frame rate standard at a 60 FPS, no matter where you're at, and I think that is a very wise and great thing to do, and I'm glad that Halo really did that first.
Right.
So
Master Chief also runs it at 60, and that's awesome.
Right, and I really like that as well.
You know, it's easier for a game like Halo because the character models are they're smooth and they're shiny. It's not like they have like hair that you have to render,
right? Or
cloth clothing that you have to render all this stuff for. So
and
a character model like that, a character model like that is easier,
right?
To make in 60 frames. But they stuck with it, and it makes the game very smooth.
Right, and I think moving forward with the next Halo, I think the next Halo is going to be. As far as from a frame rate perspective, as far as like from a graphical perspective, especially if they launch it in conjunction with the Scorpio, it's going to be just amazing. You're talking like true 4K. You know what I'm saying? Like native 4K.
If they do that, I might just get a Scorpio. But I don't even have a 4K TV yet. We have a really nice 1080 TV that's like.
Right.
I'm not ready to replace.
And stick with that. But by the time next year rolls around, you could probably buy like a 32-inch or a 27-inch for the same price that you could buy a 60-inch LCD or LED or whatever it may be. Top of the line, whatever. The prices will go down on a 4K TV, just like anything else.
Oh, yeah, they already have a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They're
doable. Dude,
now.
I bought a plasma. Back when like plasmas were a thing. I bought one of those, and it cost me $1,200 just for a 40-inch.
Yeah, well, our TV is a plasma, and it costs big bucks. But we bought it pretty early when the big TVs were still pretty expensive. And that was 2006, I think. We still got the same TV.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a 58-inch plasma, though. It was a lot.
Wow. That's gotta be a beast. What kind is it? It hasn't had any problems?
No, not a single problem.
Wow.
It's, what brand is it? It's like one of the good brands. Shit, I can't even remember. It's
Like
one of the good
Samsung
brands.
or some shit, yeah. Okay.
I think it's Samsung, yeah.
Yeah. But
anyway, and then we had to replace the TV upstairs, so we got a 48-inch LED one that was super cheap. Super cheap.
Right.
It was like $400 or something.
Right. And I think you'll have the same thing with 4K eventually. I mean, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for a game to kind of say, hey, this is true 4K, but I don't trust games now. You know what I mean? Like, I just really, in general, do not trust games. Oh, this is a 60 FPS. Well, yeah, until I notice it dips down to like 40. You know what I mean? Like
rotten developers, you're full of lies.
They're full of lies, and I have noticed they're full of shit. And
When's the last time you heard about the Microsoft HoloLens?
Well, I hear about it a little bit just because BS Angel's doing it. She used to work for 343 and Jessica Shea, and she used to work for 343. Now she works directly for HoloLens, which I don't know what the hell kind of movement that is to go from Halo to.
Well, I guess it depends on how
is that a lateral move, or you know what I mean? Like,
if it takes over the world, that's a great move. If it fizzles,
you haven't seen a whole lot of it. But it took things like the Skype call that we have now, and I could see you guys on my floor, and you can teach me. You see what I see, so you can teach me how to fix things or do different stuff. So you could potentially do an entire class. If you were that edgy, you could do an entire class based on that, you know. But, you know, I think we're a little ways away from that technology. But HoloLens, I haven't seen much. You know, these peripherals, I think peripheral gaming in general is just over. Like, are you guys interested in VR at all?
I'm not going to bite unless it gets, like, real cheap. I'm definitely not going to buy the PlayStation one coming out this Christmas.
I'm not right now.
It's $400, and apparently, even with the PlayStation Pro, it's not going to work that great. And if you just have the original PlayStation 4, it's going to probably
it's not going to work
terrible.
At all.
Yeah,
I heard it doesn't work at all. You have to buy a Pro in order to get it.
Yeah.
And now with the PS4, there's basically gaming companies are going to have to release two separate games now for PlayStation. There's going to be the PS Pro version,
right,
and then the PlayStation 4 original version, whereas Microsoft is like, here's the game, like, play it on any one of the consoles, it doesn't matter,
or your
you know
PC.
What I mean? Right, or your PC or whatever it may be.
It's because Sony's taking a wrong fucking turn, man.
I don't know.
I think they are. I think they're taking a bad wrong turn, man.
They led so much this generation, though. They had a golden path, and right now they're just like pissing in the wind every chance they get.
Yeah, well, their big hype game, No Man's Sky, turned out to be a big turd.
Yeah, which that's coming to Xbox eventually, but I mean, is that anybody going to buy it?
Is anyone going to care?
Yeah, I don't. I had no faith in that game from the beginning. Like, I love, like, I have Elite Dangerous, which is just an amazing game. Like, there are some nights I'm really dorky, and I'll sit there and watch Interstellar, and then right afterwards I'll go and play Elite Dangerous and stuff. And, like, if you haven't seen the game, like, it involves, like, you know, each individual, you know, system has its own currency, and you can go through different systems basically and see what they want. Go to travel like light years to get that specific product, you know, and it's all a crapshoot. You could land, you know, somewhere else and they might not have any of those goods or materials, and then return back to that other place. empty-handed. You can have people that pirate you, like people inside the game, PvP, pirate you and take your resources. And,
he took my dilithium crystals.
Yeah. And each individual planet has its own gravity, and you can land on them, and you can mine for resources there, and you can see colonies there.
Awful lot like No Man's Sky.
It is, but it's just more scientific, I think. No Man's Sky is okay. It puts numbers on a screen and it says, oh, this is made up of 20% carbon, 30% blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't have its own individual gravity. It doesn't have, science, I guess you'd say, behind it. You know what I mean? Whereas this game has a lot of science behind it. It has its own, like, each individual system, like I said, it has its own Wall Street, essentially, where, you can trade for certain goods and barter for new ship items, or you can even take bounties out on people. And
now, I remember Elite Dangerous, but I don't remember it being that big of a game. I mean, was it a big seller? I mean, are there a lot of people playing this game?
On PC, for sure. It has a pretty big crowd on PC. Console-wise, not necessarily. But, I ran into, I remember the first time, and it was a very unique and very inspiring thing that I ran into a black hole for the first time. And I was like, well, what the hell happens if I take this Event Horizon, and see what happens? And my ship was done in a matter of seconds, and everything cracked, and I was just dead. And that's what would happen, obviously, because gravity was so killer. But it's just very exciting. Like I said, I watched Interstellar, which is one of my favorite movies. Yeah. I love space. I love cosmos. I love everything about it. And I watch Interstellar, and then I go play some Elite Dangerous, and I feel like I'm my own little Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. I love space, and I love cosmos.
Yeah.
I even like Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, and I think that game's definitely worth playing. No Man's Sky, not necessarily. They marketed it as this, travel to galaxies, and you can name your own.
You can play for 100 kajillion
and never find the end of the universe.
Years, and you'll never do the same thing twice.
Right, and it's like, no, every planet is legit, basically the same thing, but I mean, it's not like you're doing anything different on each planet. You're doing the same shit on every planet.
You're pointing your little gun and collecting resources.
Right. Which you can say the same thing about Elite Dangerous, but there's just more depth there, I think, and that's really good. Okay,
so Hidden Gem, Elite Dangerous. You heard it here on Bulletproof Underwear, courtesy of Kleenup.
And Destiny Year 3.
Yeah, Destiny Year 3 is finally worth it.
Yeah, I would say it's finally worth it, for sure.
Yeah. Well, does that mean we have to stop our like it's in our contract, we have to shit on Destiny once every episode?
Well, there are still parts of it that are a piece of shit that I don't like, but it's mostly like 90% a beautiful game right now. So there's that 10% that I'm kind of like, meh, I don't like you.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. So did you follow the news today? We had like terrorist attacks in this country.
What was it, Minnesota? I think I read.
Yeah, Flex.
Here's the thing.
St. Cloud, it's north of the cities.
Wow. Yeah. I originally visited Eden Prairie for about 4 months, so and that's not too far from there. So yeah, but I was at work all day, so I got in my Trump tweets, and that's about it.
Are you a pro-Trump or anti-Trump?
It's off and on. To be honest with you, I'm kind of sick of the presidential race. I mean, I'm gonna vote for Trump, just because I don't like Hillary, and I feel like economically he makes more sense if he can bring jobs back. Because I worked in a factory. Flex, I'm sorry, I don't mean to hijack this. I want to talk about
ahead.
Minnesota because I have no clue on what happened. Okay, so you guys, you're going to break it to me first. All right. I worked in a factory, and I got laid off from this factory 3 times.
Wow.
And each time, my job was shipped to a different country. First it was India that took over one of our heat treating processes. Then after that, there was China, like Trump says, China, all the time. But my job was taken from a factory in China, which now subsequently is they produced the maximum output they can for as long as possible, and now that factory is shut down. So my official position in that company was terminated because my job went overseas.
Wow.
And I feel like if Trump can do it, that would be great. And I think he would be more likely to do it than Hillary.
I don't know that you can bring jobs that are already lost back. I mean, all you could do is impose tariffs and stuff on Chinese.
Oh yeah, which it makes sense. But I feel like Trump would be less fearful. I guess you'd say, because he does have ties already with these countries, and I feel he is loudmouthed a lot less now because I think he's learning the ropes of politics. But at the beginning, he was very polarizing because he had to be. You know,
see, I can't trust a guy that fucking can't be truthful and act like himself, man. If you got to be fake, fuck you.
Well, but I think he does, though.
Like, oh no, he's fake as a motherfucker, man. He's just changing. He's changing. He's being a politician now, and that takes away what I liked about him. So fuck him.
Yeah. I'm no giant fan of Hillary Clinton, but I'm going to vote for her because I don't think our country's going to change that much with Hillary, and I think we're going okay, and I don't want to see what kind of crazy shit that he might pull because he's so unpredictable.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can totally see both sides of the spectrum on that. You know, I think, first of all, I don't think there was any Republican that was very worthy of a spot.
True.
And
yeah, it's true.
As far as Democrats go, I think that had Bernie played it a little safer, and had he not said some of the things that he said that were very whimsical or considered whimsical at the time, he would win the presidential election by and large. I think he would be the next president, and I think he would be okay. It wouldn't bother me as much as a Hillary, and I could maybe see myself voting for him. But, you know, college free, you know, this free, that free, you know, a lot of things free, and socialism still kind of is weird to me at this point. I have a very uneasy feeling, and I don't think it works. But I guess a lot of the younger generation thinks that it's okay, and I don't know what the hell parents are teaching their kids to make them think like socialism works, you know. But we've had experiments with that in Russia and other countries, and it just has not worked every single time.
No. Well, Bernie, you can't really take him seriously because he's asking for pie in the sky. He'd never get any of his shit done. None of it.
But, you know, he made $210 million. You know, $210 million in his campaign he made. And you got to think, like, it was that enough to buy him because he endorsed Hillary Clinton. You know, the one person that he said, I would never endorse this woman. She's crazy, you know? And now it's like, $210 million later.
A lot of people think Trump is a dangerous guy and like we don't need him as a president. But I think Bernie's one of those guys.
I think Trump might be dangerous a little bit, but I think through the annals of history, you know, some of those presidents like that weren't afraid to push the envelope, let's say, were highly regarded, like FDR and Abraham Lincoln even at the time. And you know, I think looking back, I mean, I wish we could skip ahead 4 years from now, 5 years from now, let's say, and see where we're at, you know, to see, you know, was Hillary as bad as people thought? Was Trump as bad as people thought? I think no one's going to know, man, until we're knee deep in the shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
And that's the scary thing. And that's the way American works. That's some of the beauty of it. That's some of the scary parts of it. I just don't think Trump is bought. Don't get me wrong. Like, you know what I mean? He has ties, and he has to stay loyal to those ties. But I think Hillary is more bought.
Well, I think she's pretty
Trump.
bought. Yeah. I agree. Well, I just think that she's going to basically run the country in the kind of cautious kind of way that it's been run for you know, the last 8 years. It's like nothing crazy and radical is going to happen.
Yeah. But
Anywho,
what happened in Minnesota?
Yeah, what happened in Minnesota, Flags?
Oh, some guy went nuts and stabbed 8 people up in St. Cloud.
What? Like to death? Or
I don't know if they're dead. He said that he was with ISIS, and ISIS says that they supported him. And
yeah, and he was asking people before he stabbed them, "Are you a Muslim?"
If they were Muslim or not. And the FBI is investigating it now as a terror crime.
Yeah, but nobody died.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's what I read.
Well, as long as nobody died, that's a little bit better.
They were all stabbed.
How do you stab 8 people without even killing one? I mean, seriously, how do you even do that?
I don't know.
I mean, unless you got a knife that's got a blade like that.
Yeah, it had to have been because you got to think you're in public, you know, to conceal a knife. I mean, nobody's going to run with a big, huge, like, huntsman knife or like a Bowie knife and just be like, whammo, you know what I mean? Like a Rambo knife, you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't think it would be anything like that.
I would think if you stabbed 8 people, like, and none of them died, I was like, God, stabbing doesn't work very well, does it?
And a cop shot him.
Yeah, it was an off-duty cop. It wasn't a mall cop.
He charged a cop.
Dead?
He charged at a cop, and the cop blew him away.
Okay, so he's dead.
So the security guards at that mall are not armed. They're like Paul Blart.
Oh, it happened at a mall.
Yeah, it happened at a mall.
Wow. Okay. Holy shit! Not the Mall of America.
No,
that would be too.
St. Cloud.
Right.
Mall of America has Minneapolis cops protecting it.
Yeah. Dude,
and then there was a pressure cooker bomb that went off in New York City.
Yeah, I heard about that. A bunch of people injured.
Wasn't it a dumpster?
Yeah, a bunch of people injured. Looked like a big blast. I mean, it tore that dumpster apart. So that had to be a pretty good sized explosion.
That's crazy.
And then there was an explosion of a pipe bomb in New Jersey. It was in a plastic garbage can, and it blew a hole in the plastic garbage can. But you could tell nobody was hurt. That wasn't a very powerful bomb.
I think that was probably teenagers, right? I would imagine.
Well, they don't know.
That.
They don't know.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be teenagers. Gotta be. Because I remember back in the day, we used to have the works cleaning, and we used to drop aluminum in there, shake it up, and then throw it, and it would explode. But it'd be a pretty big explosion. But that was, that could be a teenager thing. I don't know.
Are you saying you were a delinquent cleaner?
I think everybody was in their own way, right?
I was.
Am I wrong?
Yeah.
See? Yeah. We all created a little bit of havoc and pushed, a little bit too far sometimes. That was very reckless. Now, looking back at it as an adult, like if my kids ever did anything like that, I would be in sheer terror. And it's so weird to be at that spot. I can't quite still to this day comprehend it.
Condemning your own childish, behavior when you were that age.
Right. I can't just say, well, boys will be boys, girls will be girls. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
It's true. Everybody kind of goes through that.
I think I really wish we went back to a time where there wasn't as much social media, or as much coverage, because I think a lot of this stuff happened before,
But now people do
so much more
crazy shit
magnified.
just so they can record it and put it on Facebook.
Right. And it's like, I just don't think if the media didn't cover this a whole lot, ISIS, if it didn't cover, Trump's crazy shit and Hillary's crazy shit and, everybody else's crazy shit every, 2 seconds, it wouldn't be as trivial, man. Because, dude, nothing to me was more fucked up than the 90s, dude. The 90s were such a loose period, grungy period. I don't know how to explain it, but it was like, dude, you had underlying themes and all these cartoons. Ren and Stimpy came out, Beavis and Butthead, like all this shit that kind of, the Brothers Grunt. You had Liquid Television. MTV hit its prime and peak, and but the media didn't cover as much stuff. We had, bombings. We had the Oklahoma City bombing. We had the World Trade Center bombing. You had Columbine. You had, trying to think, those were the big three.
See, you got to think hard to think of
in
it,
the
man.
90s.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
We had fucking Desert Storm. You know what I'm saying? But I don't remember that much from Desert Storm. I was 7 at the time, 8 at the time. You know what I mean?
Well, I remember everybody was pissed that we didn't finish the job. It's like Saddam Hussein was still the leader of Iraq. It's like we left and he was still in charge, and it's like Bush didn't finish the job, and I think that's why he lost the election to Bill Clinton.
I mean, yeah, it could have been. I mean, I don't know. I was very young at the time, so politics didn't mean as much to me as Hulk Hogan did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I knew everything about him, but not so much about Bush.
Well, when I was a kid, I didn't care much about politics. I mean, Vietnam was in the news every single night, but I didn't give a shit.
Right. I mean, yeah, dude, you guys have seen Nam. You know what I'm saying? That to me was always so much more epic than Desert Storm. Desert Storm was really the first war where it became airstrikes, right?
Yeah. It's precision airstrikes, and it's like there weren't that many, soldiers at risk. I mean, I don't think we lost a whole lot of people.
Right. Nam, you lost a lot of people, and that was a war nobody wanted. The same can be said about the Iraqi war, but how many Americans have we lost?
Well, I mean, it's not like Operation Desert Storm. We actually had a military operation, and we went in with jets and tanks and helicopters, and we fought like warfare.
Right.
That was a real war. Now we just have this, whatever it is, it's house to house kind of stuff.
Right.
And the
it's
people
really
who are
weird.
dying are running over bombs. It's
right.
It's not a conventional war.
No, it's very weird and very foreign to what I believe, or my, I guess, ideal idea of what war is. You're talking armies, battalions, everything like that.
Yeah, our army fights your army, and you're the
Boom.
bad guys and we're the good guys, and it's
everybody lines up in a row, shooting at each other, right?
How about the Revolutionary War, when those whole lines of dudes would be faced off against other whole lines of dudes? It's
right.
Is that the dumbest fucking thing you've ever seen? It's
yeah, I saw the same thing. I watched Troy today, and I knew how militaries worked at that time, but they would legit just walk forward, or the first people, first in line to penetrate or try to get the shielded people off, they would legit just run up there and die.
Yeah, those guys are all
time.
fucking dying. Those dudes are dying.
And I was just like, that's that's terrible. That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. But that's how they fought wars back then. I don't know.
Yeah, I have a feeling I would have been a deserter. It's
right.
I'm sneaking out the back.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, it's okay, we want you on the first row. Fuck no.
Right. I mean, I remember a little bit about, my history as far as like from the 90s and shit, but I mean, I'm wondering, will my kids remember this stuff? Will they remember, like the biggest thing for me was September 11th. And before that was probably either Oklahoma City or Columbine, more so Columbine because it was very trivial. And I think that was very,
kids getting killed, It's like that's a shocking thing.
Right. And I think that was very I remember that because it was right near my birthday. But same with the Oklahoma City bombing. Like, bro, stay away from April because that shit is terrible. Titanic sank. Taxes are due. Oklahoma City bombing. Everything. Columbine. All this shit happens in April. Stay away the fuck away from that month.
April's bad.
And my birthday. So, Abraham Lincoln got shot and died.
What day is your birthday so we can...
the 16th, the day before taxes. Eat a dick.
All right.
Yeah, but
all right. So I'd say we got ourselves an episode here. If you are still watching Bulletproof Underwear, episode number 210.
Yay.
Good job. Now, get alive.
220. It's 220.
Or 220.
Why the fuck do you think it's 210, man?
Well, I don't know. It's like I'm not good with digits.
The weeks are all running together, Flex.
220. All right. Okay, so I have been your co-host, Yam Juice.
And I've been your co-host, Flex.
And once again, we would like to thank none other than the original, the only Kleenup. Hey!
Hey, thank you, guys. It's always a pleasure.
So, because you're just an avatar, you get to miss out on the next part. Are you sad?
And this is my favorite part. I participate every single time.
Well, you know what? There's no reason that even though the audience can't see you, you can still do it. And we all know you do it.
That's true.
So here we go.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot, guys. That was awesome. I always love talking to you guys. It's always great.
Oh, we like having you on.
Yeah.
It is indeed a treat.
And I've been watching a lot of these from Zarul to when you have Faven on there and stuff. I enjoy this. Keep this up. It's definitely a really good thing. I look forward to it.
We got the clean stamp of approval.
Hell yeah.
All right, well, there's only one goddamn thing left to do. Take us out, Mr. Flex.
Bye, everybody.